Welcome to the CP Media platform and welcome back to another Wednesday Night Live brought to you by the fabulous Team CP, your endurance coaching specialist. And as always, it's an absolute privilege to have here in the studio with me our team captain, Richard Greer. Welcome, Rich.
Yeah, welcome. Thanks, Angus. And it's a privilege to be sitting next to you, Angus, pushing the buttons and having some good chat.
Yeah, I'm always in for some good chat. You know that.
Yep, absolutely. We've got another awesome show. We bring these together. I guess that's just based on all the different people we get to work with and share our stories with and things. So, yeah, really looking forward to tonight.
And pretty stoked that actually so far, how many episodes in are we? I don't even know what our total is actually. But nobody said no to us yet, Richard.
Haven't said no to you. Maybe they've said no to me.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, no,
don't get no, right? Yeah, good.
Yeah, exactly. No. So, we're going to finish off with Andy Good, who's new onto our coaching team and a top level runner, specifically about some speed sessions for an endurance runner. So that'll be good. Hear what he has to say. We're going to talk to Shane Simmonds, who's been a key member of our team for a number of years now, and always the first to put up his hand for an adventure. So talk about where he's come from, what he's been up to, and talk about his pretty out there weekend.
And always likes to be on the front of the bunch as well. Let's not forget he's always loved to be setting the tempo up front.
You've got to be careful if he takes off because you might not catch him again. So, yep, absolutely. Looking out for Shane. And then we're going to kick off pretty much now, aren't we? Let's get into it. So Rachel Grunwell we're going to talk to. Rachel Grunwell is a award-winning journalist. She is also, over the last couple of years, written a wellness book called Balance, Food, Health and Happiness. So we're going to have a wee bit of a chat about that. She's an athlete. She's a qualified coach. She's a yoga instructor, a meditation teacher. Effectively, as she says, she's a wellness geek. She has a lot to do with the Rotorua Marathon. She's run 4 times and completed 25 marathons at the last count, including guiding lots of disabled athletes for the Achilles Foundation as well. Run all over the world, run the Chicago Marathon, New York Marathon, and also a couple of years back, I coached her when she did the race as well. So we're going to have a wee bit of a chat about that, which I think may have been a little bit out of her comfort zone.
And I just got to say, I just met Rachel for the first time, back in our green room out the back there before the show. And wow, what an absolutely stunningly positive person that Rachel is. And so I guess without further ado, to everybody out there, enjoy our little chat with Rachel.
Good job.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Rachel. How are you?
Yeah, good.
No face mask tonight?
No, it's safe from level 3 in Auckland, behind the walls of my living room. Welcome to my living room.
Well, thank you for having us.
Yeah, you've got 3 young boys as well, haven't you, Rachel? How's the family been coping with level 3?
Yeah, it's pretty full on actually. My oldest is 15 and he's doing fine. They just, he just locks the door and disappears. But yeah, it's a bit of a juggle, hey. Yeah, so I really feel for people juggling the work, fitness. I'm working out in this lounge office / area while the kids are trying to do homework and yeah, a bit of a juggle, but we're all used to that, right?
Yeah, good stuff. No, it sounds like you're going well and making the best of it, which is the key thing. And that's a big part of what your book was about when you're writing that, I guess, is making the best of it, eh?
Yeah, it's about, it's called Balance, Food, Health and Happiness. Features 30 global experts on how to be healthier and happier. It's all science-backed knowledge, so nothing woo-woo, because I am a yoga teacher. Some people are a little bit freaked out by that meditation and yoga stuff, but yeah, this is there's neuroscientists in there, psychologists, professors, doctors, strength and conditioning coaches, people who are pretty famous, one of the top happiness researchers in the world. Someone who studies happiness, what are the elements that fuel happiness, that are research-backed, that work. Right. Yeah, he's fascinating.
Nice. Rachel, tell us a bit of background. Where did you start this? Because it wasn't all about being happy, was it? It wasn't all about being wellness for you. How did you get into explore this wellness space? Tell us a bit of background.
So in a previous life, I was an award-winning journalist, and I used to give politicians a bit of a hard time. I covered High Court murder trials. I was either writing stories for the front page for the Herald or the Sunday Star Times, and this went for a couple of decades. I really loved that career. By absolute accident, I fell into this wellness, fitness, health, lifestyle space. I was offered a weekly column writing for the Herald on Sunday about different fitness ideas. And yes, I fell into it by accident. Honestly, if they had offered the wine column to me at the time, I would have leapt at that with equal interest.
Yeah.
So lucky chance that I was offered a wellness column.
Yeah, I do actually recall reading that back in the day, a number of years ago. And in terms of just a normal person, seeing if they could figure out what this running bit was about and how hard it is. Can I actually keep running? I think I was reading about one day.
Yeah, I did all sorts of crazy things. Mountain bike riding, BMX riding with the Olympian, flying trapeze from the height of a 3-story building. I did a juicing diet that made me hungry, angry. You name it, I tried it. And yeah, it's quite a neat learning curve. But I fell in love with the industry. So I feel very lucky I was offered that column, because by absolute chance, back then I knew nothing about health, fitness and wellness. I was a stressed out investigative journalist who only knew how to eat sugar and drink coffee. If there's hope for me, there's hope for anyone.
Get it done. Any skin off your knees amongst that sort of figuring out type years?
In terms of, some things were quite scary, but yeah, you put me through the scariest experience of the lot. And look, I did a lot of things. That column went on for years and years and years and years. And I traveled around the world doing adventure things.
Mm-hmm.
But the race, honestly, it was the most terrifying thing I did, I think.
There's a photo that Angus has just thrown up there. You and Mike McRoberts on the finish line, looking kind of relieved. But would you be more comfortable than Mike at that point? I'd say that's probably the case.
Yeah, it was funny. We were asked, look, do you want to take part in this event? And we both said, look, how hard can it be? We'd run quite a few marathons together. And we thought, if we can run 42 kilometres, then of course we can ride a bike and roll through 100 kilometres.
Yep.
And it wasn't until after we'd signed up that it was an elite athlete I was interviewing at the time. And they said, what race are you doing, Rach? And I said, the race. And he said, oh my God, that race terrifies me. And then we discovered it was full of hills, and then we became quite scared.
Yeah, perfect. And in terms of that build up, that training, what were some of the things that you found that were useful?
Your training was amazing. Really, you fit it into my lifestyle. So I remember going into a gym and hitting those cycling classes just with incredible intensity, and getting really fit for that, in that area. And just, your build up was beautiful. Just, Mike and I would cycle out to Piha a couple of times. We got on some long rides, but actually the training just fit into my life really, really well. That was really key. Juggling a business, juggling family. You really get that. And it was really helpful.
Yeah, and that's it is a key thing, isn't it? There's no point putting a plan together if you can't actually do it. That actually, how do we make this work, and how do we figure this out and make it actually realistic? And that's one of the key points of going back to your book as well, isn't it? That whole, how do you find balance? I talked to a number of people about this sort of on a probably almost a daily basis, and I feel like balance is something that we have, and then tomorrow we might not have, and then the next day we might have it back again. How do you? What are your tips about trying to get that consistency to actually sort of live a balanced life?
I think it's being unapologetic about your goals and what you want to achieve, and then like carving out some space and time for that. And because that's for that underpins your well-being, right? And it's okay to have that in your life, and just, I guess, chat with loved ones, get them on board, explain to them, hey, I've got this goal in so many months. How can you help me out here? Can I get support? And Yeah, I think just, we've got a goal crush in this life. It fuels our well-being. It's great. You've got to go after it. But yeah, just, I guess, communication with people in your life to get them on board,
isn't it?
Support you.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And it's a two-way thing with partners and families and things as well, isn't it? Making sure that you're giving others in the family their chance to do that as well, and then booking the diary out to make sure there's a good balance between everybody and everybody's able to win in that regard.
Absolutely. And sometimes how can you tie it in, like a bit of training? If one of your kids is able to get on a bike while you're running, if you can have some crossover, it can make it a bit more fun too.
Yes, exactly. Especially when they tell you you're slow, Dad. Come on, pick up the pace. That's always a good one. And how do you? What are your thoughts around, like, we work with a whole bunch of endurance athletes, people that have got lofty goals, have got lives to balance, etc. And often we can become quite single-minded because, I mean, you almost need to, because there's a lot of time taken up to try and prepare for some of these things. But it's not just about that one thing, is it? There's also thinking about the other elements of your life as well, and making sure you keep balance with those. And if I could never do this anymore, what does that mean for me? And all the different elements or pillars of your life that make you up. What are your thoughts along those lines?
Yeah, I think we evolve and change as well. So you might have one goal in mind, but there's different ways to hit it. So, if an injury pops up, then, you can train for a goal with cross training quite effectively. I don't know whether I'm hitting your question right now, but yeah.
Yeah, I guess I'm just more talking about, I guess there's, hey, you've got work and you've got this exercise, and then you've got your family, and then you've got maybe other interests and things like that as well. Like, it's important to keep a bit of balance amongst a few different things, isn't it? Rather than just be solo into one, in case that one disappears. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, you never have one thing going on in your life, right? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, work's still important. You've got to juggle it. You've got to balance it, and you've got to prioritize things in the right order. And I think, knowing what you value is really important, because, you can have it all if you know what you value.
Cool. And that comes down to sort of that planning initially and that communication to get underway. Amongst looking all the different people you interviewed, and there's obviously a number of different things that you learned from that relate to different situations. But what are your one or two key things you brought out of that book, and you're like, yep, that's something that I'm really integrating into my life?
Yeah, so the magic of balance is that it hits all the pieces of wellness, all the wellness pieces of the puzzle, if you like. So you've got how you eat, how you think, how you move, how, where your mindset's out, where your mindset is at, emotional intelligence. There's all these different things that underpin your well-being. So I sort of say to people, you don't have to read the whole book. You can read just the chapter where you want to uplift. And, for me, like, I learned a lot in emotional intelligence area, like how to connect better with friends and family and, your kids. Like, did you know there's 5 layers of listening?
Tell us about those 5 layers of listening.
Oh, look, people say words right, but there's a lot that gives their feelings away. So it might be the tone. So imagine, if you're going to your wife, honey, can I go to the pub? And she goes, sure, Richard. I don't know if I quite done that right.
Yes, I understand.
Say, yeah, sure, you can go if you're listening to just the word, but the tone is fierce, and then her face might be like giving something else away, and her eyes might look like, they're on fire. So body language. And there's also heart-connected listening. So that's like ultimate layer. So when you're listening to not just the words, but the tone, how people's body language. the warmth that you're getting from them, and also mirroring back what they say and getting the underlying emotion. So actually connecting. Yeah.
Nice. Rachel, you've run lots of marathons, and you've helped lots of people through their marathons as well with the Achilles Foundation, which is really, really awesome. But I'm always interested in the biggest fail that you've had. There's always a fail story, isn't there? Tell us about that.
Well, thank God I've never failed on helping guiding a disabled athlete.
Okay.
So that's good. But biggest fail actually turned into my biggest win. So my biggest fail was running the Christchurch Marathon in 2017. I was running with Mike McRoberts actually for that. I got to 32 kilometres and my leg went. Felt injured. I could walk the rest. I didn't feel any pain whatsoever, but it was absolutely horrendous pain to run on it. So I walked the rest of that. I ended up having a stress reaction, so I couldn't run for 12 weeks. But my biggest fail, so my worst performing marathon, ended up being my biggest win because I'd already signed up to run the Chicago Marathon, which was 12 weeks out. So I had to cross-train and rehabilitate. So I learned the power of cross-training to get me race fit. So I cycled, did yoga, lifted weights, and did some pretty intense cycling prep. And I ended up running Chicago Marathon 12 minutes slower than my fastest ever time, just through cross-training, no running almost. So it was a really beautiful learning curve. I hated it at the time, but I learned the power of cross-training is just unbelievable. So
How do you integrate that into your training preparation now? Like I'm sure you're doing a bit of running and have some goals lined up. How do you incorporate the strength training, the yoga into your running? Like maybe as a percentage, how does that go for you?
So I've changed my run training completely since that experience. I used to just run for training for marathons. Now there's no way I would do a really, really, really long run anymore. I cross-train a lot of it. I do a lot of strength and shorter runs. And just in that build up towards race day, I'll do some, longer work, but most of it is strength, based, which is exciting. I love it.
Yeah, good quality stuff and moving well and holding yourself together well as well, isn't it?
Yeah, lifting lots of iron.
Yeah, good. What's your deadlift number? I think you were telling me the other day.
95 kgs.
95 kilos. There you go.
I'm a scrawny yogi. Like, there's not much to me. And 2 years ago, I couldn't lift the bar, and now I can deadlift 95 kgs. It's pretty cool.
Brilliant.
Experience to your running, makes you strong, right?
Good. There's a challenge to all those people that are listening out there. Can you lift 95 kilos? Don't injure yourself though. First, right after that. Oh, crikey!
Find me on Instagram, and I'll woo cheer you on. Love it.
Yeah. Fantastic. One question from George, who's just put it on our Facebook page, is what's the most important wellness tip you'd give to someone who is time poor? Sleep really, really well. It's a free wellness tip that can fuel your performance. So a lot of the time people don't, it's not that they're not doing enough training. One of the biggest things is people aren't recovering enough. So, yeah. And great nutrition. Nutrition fuels how you think and feel and how you perform, how much energy you have. So even just, putting more plants on your plate. There was also from George's previous question, he said, did Richard pass on his love of custard squares? Do you advocate it as an excellent choice of post-race nutrition?
Everything does. So I wrote a book about balance, and I eat chocolate, I love a glass of wine. And so that's the whole key to this. And that's the whole underlying message of my book, is that everything is okay in life and balance. Yeah, eat chocolate, drink wine, just don't do it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Savor that custard square once you've finished it, because you've earned it, haven't you?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's the reward, right?
And Rachel, just while we're talking about that, I'm just going to bring that up there. Not the custard square, Richard. I know where you're thinking. You're thinking custard square. That's all I ever think about is custard square in my belly. But your book, Rachel, Balanced Food, Health and Happiness. I've got the website there. I'll put a link when we upload this to our podcast platform and things to your website at Inspired Health. And you can buy the book online there, correct?
Yeah. It's got 30 global experts and also 30 nourishing recipes like smoothies, juices, snacks and things. So there's sort of something in there for everyone. And it's a full colour, beautiful book. The publisher did an amazing job. Yeah.
Brilliant. What's your go-to recipe, Rachel?
Free one. Because if you like chocolate, there's a chocolate smoothie bowl.
Look at that.
Actually, I saved one. I wanted to show you the, there's a beetroot juice in there. So beetroot juice is great for athletes. A lot of athletes big into beetroot juice. Sorry, picture's not very good. But yeah, some good recipes in there. They're fun, nourishing.
Very good, very good. Well, Rachel, it's nearly time to carry on and let you go off and balance and be happy and all those things. But before we do, we always like to run through a quick little 5 questions with our guests. Quick fire, off the tip of your tongue there. So training, morning or evening?
Morning, so early, 6 o'clock I'm up, love it. It's my time. No excuse not to be there. Like, don't have a hair appointment, obviously. Yeah, just get in, get it done, and it fires me up for the day. I love it.
Perfect. And maybe the answer to this question may actually be found in the balance of numbers in your book, but sweet or savoury?
Oh, sweet tooth.
There'd be more. You're saying there's more sweet recipes in your book than there are savoury ones. Is that
Lots
correct?
of chocolate, yeah.
Mountains or beach?
Beach. Bikini,
beach.
beach, sand, surf, sun. Oh,
so good for the wellness. Excellent. Fancy meal or backcountry meal?
Oh, fancy. Put on some heels, a dress, go out with my girlfriends. Yeah.
Take a lady out and feed her a wine. Lovely. And running road or off-road?
Actually, I've fallen in love with off-road. So one of the most memorable marathons I did was with Mel Law. He did the 50 marathons in 50 days. And that was one of my first off-roads and the most grueling race, God, but so beautiful. And I'll never forget being at the peak and all these grown men crying. It was the last peak, right? He bagged his last peak, and yeah, pretty memorable. But I love the views. I love being out in nature. Nature nurtures. You call it biophilia when you're a wellness geek, or forest bathing. Don't go out and in the forest in your bikini, obviously, but it's just a term. Wellness.
Like
it nurtures you. It helps to keep you well.
Good. I'll use that.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, Rachel, thank you so much for joining us tonight and sharing a little bit about who is Rachel, talking to us about, look, life's just about being happy, isn't it, at the end of the day?
Yeah, totally. And look, health and happiness fuels performance. So, yeah, if you can get into any of those science-backed health or happiness hacks, they'll help to fuel your performance. So, yeah.
Good. Well done,
Excellent.
Rachel. Look after yourself. All the best for your next adventure and next challenge. And we'll jump online and grab your book, I think.
Oh, thanks, Richard. Thanks, Angus. Really nice to connect with you guys.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Anytime. All the best, Rach.
Thank you. Cheers, guys.
Thanks. Yeah.
Look at that. I'm going to go forest bathing, Richard. and in fact, that's actually just like the perfect segue, like forest bathing, because if we got our diary out again, Richard, and we looked at what was coming up, one of the things coming up this Saturday night is Fusion Events Forest Run Fest at Bottle Lake Forest, an absolute ideal time to go forest bathing.
You're going to be there
in the dark. But must say, things have changed. Unfortunately, again, COVID has struck, and the Forest Run Fest has had to be just slightly altered. And it is now officially sold out because I've had to smallen up the numbers. So if you've got a ticket for Saturday night, good on you, well done. They are going to be running the 10K, 5K, and 2K. But stand by for the 21K run. It's actually going to be scheduled to the 24th of October. So come time, we'll talk more about them when we get there. If you are going, if you're out there, you're one of our viewers, one of our listeners between now and Saturday night, and you are going to the Forest Run Fest, and you just happen to see me there either on the start line or maybe puffing and panting halfway around the 10K course, if you're looking for a little pick-me-up, hit me up. Tell us you love our Wednesday night show. I may just have a wonderful Pure Gel from our sponsors, Pure Nutrition, to give you on the way past. And better yet, if it's a cold Saturday night and you happen to run into me afterwards as we're lingering around there at the finish line, again, hit me up. Tell us how much you love and how much you enjoy the CP Media Wednesday Night Live. And I may even have a coffee culture voucher for you to give.
And if no one comes to see you, Angus, you'll at least be able to have a gel for recovery and go and enjoy a nice coffee.
I will, and I've got no problem with that either. I'm quite fond of a coffee. So
Good job.
That's for Saturday night. Obviously, Sunday's the big one. Sunday is the Team CP annual brunch, ride, run, and walk, Richard.
Yeah, that's right. So we've done this for a number of years. And this Sunday, so Raspberry Cafe out at Taitat, meet out there, or if you're riding your bike, you can meet us in the Coffee Culture and at Beckenham and ride out with us. But you just need to sign our form, which is on our social media platforms, just so we know we're coming, because we're not allowed too many people, because obviously with the COVID restrictions about numbers. So just let us know if you're coming, and we'll love to see you out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe have the wee COVID app on your phone or something so that we can scan it at the Raspberry Cafe as well. And then also getting close, Richard, is as we just talked about with Rachel, this year's the race. We've talked about it. It's on a funny date. It's not our normal date for the race.
Yep. So September 19th, I think, isn't it? So there's a chance to ride over to Akaroa for a day and have a good day out on the bike. So we'll be there with our bunch police and cheering people on and helping keep people safe on their bikes.
We will. And there is still time to sign up. They are still taking entries. So if you haven't already got an entry into there, then get into it. No excuses, absolutely. Right?
Yeah, that's right. And the final thing we want to talk about was our Spring Run Club, which is starting next Tuesday, first day of September, and running through the entire springtime through to December and summer. Tuesday night, Oscar Baines, the man himself from the front run, is going to be leading the Tuesday night run group. So, but lots of different levels. We'll have different run leaders at different paces. So come along, just come for a run, come and join us. So look, that's on Tuesday night. This
is a great deal. Spring Run Club, $85, 12 weeks, two times a week. So as you said, Tuesday night with Oscar and Thursday night with Jacob.
That's right. Yep. So a hill session on Thursday, and it's an interval session. So nobody gets left behind. So faster people do more laps, and then slower people do less laps, and then we meet up and then go and do the next thing. So it's a good chance to challenge yourself and run to your ability and have some fun with a cool group of other people.
Yep. So if you don't know where to go over to the Team CP website, teamcp.co.nz. Head for the What's On tab at the top of the page, and you'll see the Team CP Spring Run Club. All the links and connections are from there.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I think it might be time to talk to our next guest. What do you think, Angus?
Oh, I think he looks like he's sitting in his man cave, but I believe it's actually his lounge. You've got your ears on there, Shane.
Hello, how's it going?
Look at that.
Good. And I've got to say, you've done this very well, Shane. Our good sponsors, Giant Bikes, will be absolutely super happy about how we've organised this with a lovely looking Giant Trinity in the background there.
Yeah. So for those that are watching this opposed to listening, there's just as you're watching, you need to count up how many bikes you can see. It's a bit of a Wheels Wally, just about, isn't it? How many seats are back there? You've done very well, Shane.
Yeah, so this is my office at home.
Okay, so it's not the lounge. Okay.
No.
What's in the lounge then? If that's what's in the office, what's in the lounge?
Yeah, no. I think I get in trouble if I put bikes in the lounge.
No, that's right. It's all about balance, isn't it? Not overdoing it. Shane, you've we've been working together for a while now, haven't we? You're always the first one to put your hand up for an adventure. There was a big adventure in the weekend that we're going to talk about in a moment, but I want to just kick off just in terms of your background. How did you get into running for a start? Because that's kind of where this whole endurance kind of thing started for you, and you ended up working through to running the marathon at a pretty quick clip, I have to say as well. So tell us a little bit about your background. Where have you come from?
Yeah, so I guess I started maybe 6 years ago, decided that I needed a change of lifestyle. I was pretty overweight. So I started out, well, probably like 10 minutes in the morning on an elliptical cross trainer. And after about a year and a half, lost a significant amount of weight and decided, gee, this is a bit boring. I really would like to go running. So just one day went out and did a first run, which I think was about 5K, and then got hooked on running and thought, I wonder if I can do a half marathon. So I was in it one of the front runner, one of Oscar's evenings, and I think Richard, you were there, and put my name down, and I think that's where we started. So the 2016 half marathon is what I kicked off with.
Yep, brilliant.
Built from there, and just been having a great time ever since.
Ever since, it's got bigger and more adventurous as you've gone, isn't it?
It does.
Just as a matter of interest, how much weight did you lose in those?
So I was 136 kg, and I think when I started working with you, I dropped down to 68.
Wow.
So a lot. So I was probably underweight and wasn't that strong. So we've done a lot of work in terms of building strength, which has been helping with the more longer endurance, multi-sport type stuff.
That's right. And it's been a real focus recently, more and more, isn't it? Working on that balance, working on that strength to be able to hold yourself together, to remain injury-free, etc.
Yeah, definitely. The running because I've got some big goals for next summer, and so running and being strong is going to be key to achieving that goal. Yeah,
cool. What are those goals for this next summer ahead? What are your goals going forward?
So I've entered to do coast to coast 1 day. So I did the 2 day this year, and initially I thought no, I wouldn't do the 1 day, but then come to do the entry, and I'm like, well, actually, I know I can do the 2 day. I've just done that, and I'm all about big, scary goals, and questioning, can I do that? So so that's what I've entered, and so a real big focus this year has been on running. Previously, I've had a big focus on the bike, and so I feel strong there, and kayaking's going okay. So so the run's the focus for this year with strength.
And it's not just that running, is it, for you, across that mountain run? It's running across that sort of uneven terrain and that holding yourself together and the confidence to move. Because you've run, is it a 3.5 hour?
It was three. It was sub 3.5, so it was 3:27. I think was the Gold Coast Marathon.
That's good. So, it's fair shifting. So translating that into that rocky off-road stuff, which is where the balance and where the strength is really important, isn't it?
So I'm doing a lot of work around ankle stability, hip mobility, and strength, and then just confidence running on that on the rocks, that uneven terrain. Really being aggressive, I guess is. That's
exactly the way to think about it. What's thinking back of the last sort of 4 years or so, what's a key learning, key 1 or 2 things to share that you've really from your when you decided, hey, I need to change my lifestyle, through to now? What are 1 or 2 key things that you'd look to share with others to say that's sort of like a real key pillar to my life, or thing that I wish I knew then?
I guess listen to your body. That's I have had one case of an injury that I sort of continued to run through, and so that took me out of running for probably 8 months, and maybe if I'd listened to my body and actually gone and seen somebody earlier, may not have been such a big deal. But just enjoy the process, really. You know, you got to love what you're doing, and I love getting out there and training, and you know, and being okay with being uncomfortable. You know, push yourself, and I do. I try and push myself to the limit, whatever training I'm doing or session, and that can be physically, but also mentally as well. It's a bit of a game, you know, a mind game more than anything, pushing through.
Yeah, it really is, and we hear that a lot. Like our body will continue on before our mind will tell us to stop before our body stops. But it's a really tough thing to tell yourself that in that heat of the moment, and then also actually continue through it, isn't it? But you do a pretty good job of that when you're riding away on your bike, going, "Geez, I hope he's hurting," because I certainly am. Yeah, that's awesome. In the weekend and this weekend as well, one thing we haven't talked about so far, we've got our Never Have I Ever challenge on, and you had a bit of an adventure in the weekend, didn't you? Mount Binzer, which is like a key hill when you're paddling down the river, sort of the key one right at the start of the coast to coast Waimak paddle that you sort of paddle past effectively. Tell us about that adventure and how that got on.
Yeah, no, that was awesome. I haven't really done any, I guess, mountain climbing. You know, I've been up Mount Oxford and local ones, but this was a wee bit more. And
We'll just put a picture up for those that are listening into this. So there's snow on the top of the hill. There's this little pinchy bit between a little saddle that you had to try and navigate through. How were you going through there? You look quite confident in that photo. Look like you're all over it.
So there's a little rock in the background there that we had to sort of get past. But yeah, so it was the first time I've used crampons, and there was 3 peaks that we actually had to climb to get to the summit. But it was a great group of people. We had the right gear. We talked about what we were going to do. So it was, again, initially when I got up to the ridge and saw the snow and from a distance looking at the ridge lines, I was like, no, I'm not sure I'm going to do this.
But
you know, just talked it through and away we went, and we all made we had a discussion that said, look, if anybody's uncomfortable at any point, we'll turn around and walk back out. But no, it was great fun. Loved it. The views up there were just fantastic.
Yep. So any moments that you're like, I'm not sure if I can do this?
Oh, there was one point we were traversing along a slope, and I sort of looked down, and there was no big drop or anything. It was just if you started sliding, it was going to be you'd have to self arrest, and I was just like started to freak out a little bit, and it's like, well, hang on, I walked all this way. I only just got to go a little bit further. But what I did there is I ended up just, instead of going straight across this slope, I sort of started climbing up towards the ridge line a bit. Once I got up there, it was fine. It was just a mind game more than anything. And then the screen on the way down, that's fun. And then about an hour of bushwhacking to try and get back to the car. So that was a bit slow going.
It has to be like if you've got Madagascar prickles and stuff in your hands, it's a good adventure, isn't it? So you're finding those the next 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Definitely.
Good job, Shane. That's fantastic. So never have I ever climbed a mountain with crampons on, and that's a big tick in the box. And be part of that challenge. Will you go back? Will you do it again?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I enjoyed it. Yeah.
Nice. Good stuff. And just to finish off, you mentioned that longer stay is the goal on the cards. And I like to do stuff that's scary and sort of out of the comfort zone a little bit. Where are you at in terms of, can I finish this? What's your confidence level like at the moment?
I'm confident I'm going to finish. Absolutely. Okay. It's just how close to those cutoffs am I going to be?
Okay.
Yeah. So I've definitely got work to do. But I'm putting in the work now, and really started to hit the trails in the last month or so, and so it's just about getting onto that technical running now. So I've just got my base training, I think, sorted in terms of running fitness. It's just now combining the strength stuff and the running fitness with the technical aspect. Yeah.
To bring it together, yeah. And hey, it's all about just being prepared, isn't it? Just like when you're walking up the hill on the weekend, if you're prepared and know what you're going to do and train your body, prepared your mind, then you're going to give yourself a really good chance of doing that.
Yeah.
And it's another good reason to be involved with Team CP. As we get closer, or in the coming months, there'll be lots of CP athletes who are out there that are doing coast to coast. That'll all be banding together to help each other and setting up training days and run events and bikes and all that sort of stuff. So a great community to be involved with, to be able to find a group of people to help you train with.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I naively thought when I first signed up for the 2-day that I was just going to do all the training on my own. And I soon realised that actually, it's almost impossible with the kayak aspect. That you need to connect with others, and as part of the process, I've enjoyed that. You end up training with a lot of people, and developing friendships and getting out there doing adventures, and so it's always seeing who's doing what in the coming weekend. And it's like, right, okay. That sounds like fun. I'll go do that.
Yeah, and I think often, no matter what event it is, whether it be coast to coast or whatever, often the training's actually the fun part to the whole thing. The adventures, the people, all of that's actually almost the best part of the event, is all the lead up things you do for one.
Yeah, and then seeing everybody achieve. That was like with the 2-day this year, was actually seeing all of the people that you've been training with achieve their goals, which was pretty cool. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Good job. Well done, Shane. Well, look after yourself. Keep up the adventures. Keep working hard, and enjoy working with you. And it's been a heck of a journey so far, and look forward to seeing what we can come up with.
Yeah, excellent. Cheers.
Well done,
thanks,
Shane.
guys.
Take care.
See you out there, Shane. Yep. Now, Richard, I just got to go back to what we talked about, and I've just had had a great comment from Kate Russell pop up down there. I talked about at this Saturday night's Forest Run Fest, come and see me. I may have a spare gel, pure gel, or a coffee culture voucher. And I was thinking, well, actually, how do these people know who it is? And Kate has just defined the reason why it is still there, Richard. She says, I'm doing the 10K, Angus. I'll look out for your mo.
I think we should also give you one of our awesome guy capes or running suits. That will help you go faster as well.
Well, maybe that's what we should do, Rich. Maybe that's it. Look out for the mo, backed up by the awesome guy, Kate. Maybe.
Yeah, with the undies on the outside, you'll definitely help you go faster.
Yeah, but anyway, that's a definite plus to keeping it right. That's it all for. Anyway, moving on. Now, we wouldn't believe, but our last guest probably isn't actually used to being tail end Charlie, Richard.
No, he's not. Just we put him there on purpose, didn't we? Is that part of it?
Well, I mean, there's always a third. Never have I ever, Richard.
Yeah,
been last.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, Andy Good. He's on board as our key running coach, effectively. And I had a chat to him the other day and said, Andy, what are your three key go-to speed sessions as an endurance athlete? So, and he came up with some really good stuff. So I thought we should share that together and share where Andy's at. Andy, how are you getting on?
Yeah, good. Thanks, guys. Yourself?
Yeah, good. Very good. Good. Just before we kick off too far, where are you at? Where's your running at? Where's your training at? Where are you going at the moment in terms of your own stuff?
Yeah, training's going really well. Have kind of strung together about 10 or 11 really good weeks now. So yeah, feeling quite consistent. The events calendar keeps changing, which I think is the same for everyone at the moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, actually, just sort of to echo what Angus just said, just really enjoying the training at the moment. And I've been lucky enough to sort of be training with some of my close friends as well, which has been really cool just to get back into it. But yeah, the main focus that hopefully is still going to go ahead is actually the New Zealand Road Relay Championship. So that's at the start of October, and basically it's quite cool because like in an individual sport like running, you don't often get to do things in a team. So this is an event that's all about, trying to get the most out of yourself so the team can go as fast as possible. So yeah, pretty excited about that. And there's been a lot of run chat over the last few weeks around that as well.
Where is it and how long are the legs? Is it running and holding a baton, are you?
Yes. Yeah. So it's up in Palmerston North this year. The location changes every 2 years. I believe next year we'll be back in Christchurch, run over the traditional Taki to Akaroa course, which is a ripper. But yeah, so in Palmerston North this year, the legs are all kind of between basically 10K. So it's kind of an all-out effort. And yeah, you're running with a baton, and there are penalties for dropping the baton and breaking all sorts of rules. So yeah, it's a pretty cool event to be part of.
Fantastic, good fun. And how are the legs at the moment? Are you going all right?
Yeah, going pretty good. Have been knocking over some good sessions, which is, like just a good little confidence booster. Probably a little bit disheartened to not get a chance to race a bit more of late, but it is what it is. It's the same for everyone. So it's kind of getting to that stage now where it's just like, well, should we just set up a couple of little time trials just to get a gauge for where we are?
That's right. And speaking of time trials, actually, just before we go on to your top 3 speed sessions, Lee Butts, who I've been working with, we had the Christchurch Marathon got cancelled, and then it was like, right, let's refocus to the Wellington Marathon, just been cancelled. And that was this weekend, booked the family to go up there. So, hey, he's going to run his marathon in and around Christchurch to try and go under 3 hours. So that might be something to maybe tee into a workout and a bit of a Team CP weekend of how fast can we run.
That's the one. I mean, I think people have got to do that, and it's quite cool because there's a few more controllables. On race day, it's sort of like 8 a.m. the gun goes off, whether you've done all those things you like to do beforehand. But if you're setting it up yourself, you can start at 9:07. It doesn't matter.
yeah, exactly. So, Andy, talk us through your top 3 speed sessions that you do and prescribe for others.
Yeah, cool. I think the 3 that kind of jumped into my mind when you asked me that question, and I guess they're all sort of supposed to be used in conjunction, like with a good, overall training plan. But the first one would just be stride outs, which you and I have talked about quite a lot. Yep. And then the next one that
So just explain what a stride out is.
Yeah. Let's come back. Tell us about a stride out. How fast are we doing those? How long should they be? How many of them?
Yep, cool. So I will go through them one by one. So stride out's basically it's about a 15 to 30 second burst of speed, and basically it's done as fast as you can go, still under control. So it's not kind of like I'm getting chased by a scary dog and I've just got to run for my life. It's like, how fast can I run with really good form? So generally, like a good distance is 100 meters. So, if you're just kind of out and about using some lampposts, or if you want to do it in a more controlled setting, a track or a rugby field is fantastic.
Yeah, brilliant. And how many of those should you be doing? And where would you structure it in your week? And then how many and whereabouts in the run session as well?
So I guess it really depends on the individual, but like for someone like myself, we usually do the stride outs the day before a key session. So if we're going to do like a big steady state run on a Saturday, we were going to be running for quite a long time, with quite a high intensity. We'll do the strides the day beforehand, and it kind of just it kicks the brain into gear for what's to come. And basically it kind of just gets your body ready to operate smoothly at speed. Sorry, just get rid of that. Really good. Really good for the day before a key session, and even the day before race day, they can be quite good just for a little bit of intensity. Before you're ready to race, and you don't need to do many. It's not a workout. It's sort of 4 to 6 repetitions of 100 meters with full recovery. So go through that 100 meters and then basically walk all the way back down to the other end before you do the next one.
Yeah, so I think that walking back is a really key thing, because what otherwise happens is, because we're endurance athletes and we want to feel the burn, we end up jogging back round and then going again. It becomes a real lactic acid effort, doesn't it?
Exactly, and that's probably the key thing, is it's not a workout. It's not. It's not designed to be a workout. Really, it's kind of like a primer for the workout to follow. Yeah.
That's what I was just going to say. Almost like they're an opener, really, aren't they? Just open up all the blood and open up all the muscles and all that sort of stuff the day before.
Exactly that. Yeah. So basically, like it's going to increase your muscle strength, and just like it's going to have big benefits for the aerobic system as well. And it's all just about efficiency. your body just gets used to moving quickly. Even if you're running ultra marathons, I'd still be recommending people to even if you're just doing it once a week. Just to get used to it. And it does take a while for it to feel natural. At first, you might feel a bit strange, but it's one of those things to definitely stick with.
Nice. And that's hey, go for a run, warm up well, and just do it at the end of your run as once I'm fully warm and just do it really good quality, nice short session, and then that's you, isn't it?
Yeah, you're done and dusted. You sort of, if you jogged for 20 minutes, you did your 4 or 6 reps with a good sort of minute and a half in between. Let's say you're walking really slowly, you're all done in 35 minutes.
Yeah, great. Okay, so strides, that's number 1. Put that in the bag. What's number 2?
Stride. Next is see if you can guess what it stands for. FFLR.
FFLR. Do we have a hangman here?
Okay, so the fast finish long run.
I knew what you were going to say, but I couldn't piece that together. Well done. At least you didn't beat me, Angus. That's all that matters.
So I probably don't need to describe that one too much. It's a long run with a fast finish. But yeah, this one's, obviously you're talking about endurance-based athletes, people running marathons or half marathons and, events where they're going to be on their feet for quite a long time. And this one's really all about teaching your body to run on tired legs, especially when you've depleted the majority of your fuel.
Yep.
So how long run, but how long is the fast finish?
I guess if we use an example of someone, say, who might be training for a marathon and their Sunday long run might be around 2.5 hours.
Yep.
I would sort of say how I would probably be writing that session would be something to the effect of 90 minutes, sort of at a really easy, natural pace, just a pace that it feels good. And you're going to build into it and probably get progressively faster over an hour and a half. But then really at that 90-minute mark, that's where you're looking to kind of crack into the target marathon pace intensity. And you probably want to be going at that pace for sort of 30 to 40 minutes. So by that stage, you're up around 2 hours 10, and it is going to start feeling pretty hard. And that's the whole point of it. There's a bit of mind over matter there. And you're also forcing your body to start looking at other fuel sources as well, because most people will be sort of pretty depleted with their carbohydrate stores by that point. And that's really in effect why people are hitting the wall, during a marathon as well. So, So basically 90 minutes sort of at a pretty natural pace, and then maybe 30 to 40 with some real intent. And then sort of after that, winding it down for 10 minutes or so. And that would be a pretty bloody quality 2.5 hour run.
And that's like if you're training for a marathon, if you're training for a half marathon, let's just make all those times in half, so 45 minutes. As a steady run, and then 20 minutes as a bit of an up-tempo type, a little bit faster, and then just a bit of a jog to warm down and finish off.
That's the one. And I think the key thing to remember with this one is it is a really hard session, and it's not something you want to do every Sunday. So I think if you were to sort of break it down with what is it and how do we do it, I think the other thing we'd probably mention is when. And with this one, you'd probably only want to be doing it every second or third Sunday, and obviously with the guidance of a coach. It's a big session, and you're probably going to take a good 9 or 10 days to really come right from it.
Yeah. So, and it's about again going back to that stride out thing that you're talking about in terms of it's about efficiency, isn't it? In terms of running well and running with good posture and finishing well, because that's what it's about when you are tired, holding your body together.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, that's when people start to get pretty sloppy. So even if your first hour, 90 minutes is just about being relaxed, and then from there, you're really focusing on, bringing that correct form into play.
Mm-hmm. Yep, brilliant. Okay, so FFLR, strides.
I'm just going to interrupt there quickly. George Paul, who's intently watching, which is just great to see, has just put a comment in there, and this is above my pay grade. So, Andy, you'll have to answer this. But FFLR, good for a negative split? ?
Definitely, yeah, because it's all about tightening the screws at the right point. So many people go out so fast and burn all sorts of the wrong energy. So absolutely, this is definitely something you want to be practicing with. If one of your goals you're writing down before you go to race is I want to run a negative split, this is the kind of workout you want to be thinking about doing.
And just to clarify, a negative split is where you run faster in the second half of your run than the first half of your run.
Yes, absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, good.
Yep.
Okay, what's our third in our top 3?
Last one kind of ties in a little bit with the first one, but it would just be broadly hill repeats. A lot of pain, but a lot of gain.
Good. And what? Are we doing stairs? Are we doing just a gradient up a hill? What type of gradient are we shooting for? What are you after?
Yeah, good point. Actually, it's definitely better to be a runnable gradient. So if we were to use Christchurch as a comparison, the go-to would probably be a hill like Rapaki. One that you can run up. You don't want to be doing these on the likes of Mount Oxford, with a gradient that's sort of like already pretty scrambly, because the whole point is to actually run with good, efficient form, and it's all about going back to that efficiency. And no one's going to run efficiently up a hill that steep. And then from there, it's all just about, again, how you structure them. So with hill repeats, really the reason why I'd have people doing them is just that big strength building component. So a lot of people are doing events that are not only long, but Crater Rim, for an example, it boasts being 52k, which is no joke, but then it also boasts being 3,000 meters of elevation. So it's only natural that you're going to have to really train a decent strength component. And so hill repeats are a real staple for that kind of event.
Yeah. Andy James just said hill repeats are the devil. There you go. That's good to know. How long? How long are we looking? How many are you sort of after? Obviously, it's going to change depending on where people are at their training and how experienced they are. But as a general rule,
So a good way to look at it is I would probably say working between 20 and 30 minutes of actual work. So that's not including the rest time. So a good example might be, and actually I would just say that usually we'd do like a progressive hill block. So we might do them for sort of 4 to 6 weeks. We were really just focusing on trying to build strength. And at the start, we might be doing repeats about 4 minutes long, 3 minutes long. And then at the end, we might be sort of working towards like an 8-minute long repeat. So it's a pretty long bound up the hill. But a good example of how a session might look, if it was to be written, might be sort of like 4 by 5 minute hill repeats with a 2-minute recovery. And on that 2-minute recovery, turn around and run or walk back down the hill. And that's for a couple of reasons. Obviously, it's nice and easy, and it's a good way to recover and catch your breath. But also, you don't want to run out of hill. There's nothing worse than doing hill repeats and having to run on the flat up the top. Who wants to do that?
Yeah. I think Andy James would. He'd be quite happy with that.
But they're massively beneficial because it's all about knee lift, which is good for your form and your technique, and it's also going to help with your stride speed and efficiency. And also they're a bit more low impact. So as opposed to sort of saying, go and do 5 by 4 minute, hard efforts on the tarmac. The hill's just a little bit more low impact as well, while also keeping the heart rate pretty high.
Yes, yeah, brilliant. Good job.
Yeah,
perfect. Okay, so strides, FFLR. What does that stand for, Angus?
That stands for long run. Fast finish, long run. Don't cushion me. Fast finish, long run.
I asked you that because I couldn't remember, but it was a good test. And then we've got our hill repeats to finish off with, and obviously that's, as you've mentioned, it's about structuring it in the right way that you're not going to cook yourself, and you're going to be able to build upon the week before as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, none of them are sort of one-off silver bullet golden tickets. They've all got to be done as part of a key plan with purpose. But yeah, they're all rippers, and there are a few more as well. If you'd asked me for my top 5, we could have kept going.
I think there'll be a few people that let's not go too deep. Let's just be finishing with those 3.
Yeah. And look, let's leave the door open for you, Andy. Always a pleasure to have you here, and we'll have you back again. So there's plenty of time to put a couple more on the table yet.
Yeah, well done, Andy. Cool. Thanks for your time. Keep up the great work.
Run hard. See you, Andy.
See you guys.
Cheers. Job done.
Brilliant, Rich. Another great show. Another great 3 interesting guests that we've had again.
Isn't it good? Yep, very good. And just to wrap up, we mentioned with Shane doing his Never Have I Ever as part of our challenge. What was your Never Have I Ever in the weekend?
Well, actually, I probably should have the wee video clip, but my Never Have I Ever is actually was halfway up Piper Valley Road out of Devotionals on the gravel bike, and I tell you, it was just bliss on a beautiful sunny day to be back on my gravel bike, back on an awesome piece of road up a climb. And I guess never have I ever been so blessed and so grateful to be out on a beautiful day in light of what's going on in the world and the suffering that is going on around. Just felt blessed and grateful. Never, ever have I ever been so grateful to be able to be out the bike, Richard.
Good job. Yeah. Well done. Well done.
So,
Amen.
Now, Rich, next week we're back with another Kathmandu Coast to Coast special.
We are. Yes, indeed.
It is the first Wednesday of the month, so everybody stay tuned for that. It'll be great to dive back into our Kathmandu Coast to Coast, see where everybody's at.
Mm-hmm.
But also, just before we go, Rich, I just really want to thank our sponsors that are helping us bring this show to everybody, this podcast, our live, and also helping us do lots of stuff for the CP community out there in the background. So for Pure Sports Nutrition, Coffee Culture, Solomon NZ, Evo Cycles, Giant Bikes NZ, and of course yourself, Richard, Team CP. Thank you so much to all you great people out there helping us bring this to everybody. And stay tuned because here on this platform, you will hear some exciting things coming up, some opportunities to win some of these great products, some little samples and bits and pieces that our sponsors are giving us to give to you athletes out there that are out there doing it.
Good. I'm going to add two more. Front Runner. Did we talk about Front Runner? And
no,
also Sun2 Sport Watches as well. Help us out as well. So let's add them to the list as well. They're fantastic to be able to, while I was riding my bike for 12 hours or something in the weekend, the battery was still ticking along as it was getting dark as we got to the car. So they do a great job. Beautiful.
You didn't need it to show you the way home, luckily.
I did. It was actually quite dark. So should have. It was shining my eyes. I can't see because there's lights here and I don't want to get my light out. So, yeah,
so don't miss an episode, people. Same bat channel, same bat time, Wednesday night, 8:15 every week, here live. You'll have opportunities to win some great product. You'll have opportunities to hear some great banter and listen to some great guests. Thank you all for joining us. Until next time, spread some awesomeness.
Yep, good job. Thank you, Angus.